Good morning and welcome to one of my series of around World Mental Health Day 2020, and it's all about people that are brave enough to and open enough to share their story. So today I have with me the lovely Jenny. Jenny, do you want to introduce yourself and say what you do?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me, Emma. My name's Jenny. I am a people developer. I have my own company called Genuine Consulting, and I help people reclaim, rediscover, and celebrate their brilliance, in a nutshell.
Fabulous. So we're going to start with, what story do you want to tell us in relation to your mental health?
My story is a lockdown story, and I will, if I can just, do you want me to just go ahead and tell it? Fab. I am an extrovert. I'm a really positive person. I love people. I'm kind of quite out there. I'm probably one of the people who has been told lots of times in their lives in various guises to pipe down.
I sympathise with that.
So I'm out there. I get it. I thought lockdown would kind of be a breeze, really. It didn't. I thought it would be fine. I can cope with anything. I've coped with lots of stuff in my life, and I kind of have the attitude that I can cope with anything. It's fine. I live by myself. I don't have a pet, not even a goldfish. So I live by myself. I love my home. I love where I live. I like my life. My children are grown up. I thought that I had quite a big hiccup right at the beginning of lockdown, because my youngest son was getting married on the weekend of what turned out to be the weekend of lockdown. That's not my story, but it was. You can imagine the hideousness of that. So I thought, I've got this. Anyway, my story is about probably 10 weeks into lockdown, so May time, and I was doing an online networking meeting. It was a meeting that I had been involved in before, so I knew most of the people on there, probably about 20 of them, and it was, I think it was a Tuesday, and I was just having a really wobbly day. I felt really tearful. I felt on the edge, and I was kind of ignoring it, because I was doing that thing that sometimes we do to ourselves and others. It's like, oh, just get on with it. Just, man up, woman up, just, you'll be fine. Keep going. Keep calm and carry on. No, Anyway, so I was in this. I went to the meeting, and we do a check-in, right? And so everybody was saying how they were doing, and every single, and I was last. So every person, what I heard was every person in the group was saying, "Lockdown's fabulous. I'm furloughed. I'm being paid to sit in the sunshine. I've lost 10 stone. I'm doing 15 different physical activity, yoga, Pilates, whatever it is, every day. I've re-landscaped my garden. I've Marie Kondoed my knicker drawer. I'm just having a fabulous time, and isn't it wonderful? And it's just lovely. And it got to me, and I just, I was here. And they said, "Jenny, how's it with you?" And of course, they're used to me being, "Yay, everything's cool," or making a joke. And I said, I'm not quite sure how it came out. I said, "Well, firstly, I need to apologise, not for what I'm about to say, but for the language I'm about to use." And and I said, you asked me how I am, really, so I'm going to tell you. It's effing shite, all of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I'm
Yeah.
miserable. I hate it. I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm not lonely, but I am alone.
Yeah.
I just hate all of it.
Yeah.
I have a granddaughter who was born 2 weeks before lockdown,
Oh,
who I can't see. My daughter-in-law, my son was back at work, so she was by herself with a new baby. And she was 40 minutes down the road, and I couldn't help her. I couldn't see them. I got parents, and it wasn't any different to lots of other people. And I said, but I'm just overwhelmed by the
yeah.
fact that, bit of comparisonitis, that everybody else is having a fabulous time.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really not
Yeah.
having a fabulous time. I need the 4D-ness of people. I
Yeah.
need them in the flesh, their spirit, their wholeness.
Yeah.
And I get absolutely that I have a home, I have a
Yeah.
roof over my head, I have food on the table. I get all that.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm utterly, utterly bereft today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was just this there was
Well,
just this
silence.
stunned silence, and lots of people messaging me going, oh my god, are you what are you all right? What do you need? Are you okay? And I said, I will be okay. And I said, but we need to keep this real. It's hard, and
Yeah.
it's relentless.
Mhm.
And even the most positive people can have days where they just feel like it's all too much.
Yeah. 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 I'd agree with that.
And they're still talking about it, because it was such a, and in fact what happened, as a result of me doing that, was other people in the group were saying, well, actually, now you've said that, I'm struggling too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the rosy picture that I talked about 10 minutes ago,
Yeah.
it wasn't quite as rosy as I was painting it.
Yeah.
I was telling you what I thought you wanted to hear, rather than actually how I was.
Yeah. And a lot of people do that, don't they? A lot of people feel that people don't have time for that deeper conversation. They, how are you? Oh yeah, I'm fine. Well, actually, you could feel like, rubbish, absolute rubbish. And I think sometimes that question, how are you? Everybody just says, well, I'm fine. So, perhaps we should ask different questions, surprise people with the questions that we ask. Let's genuinely want to start a conversation. Because
yes, I think having different conversations, and a great friend of mine would say, if you said fine, she'd say, what kind of fine is that? Which I love. It's like, well, fine. Well, it means that I'm making the best of a bad job, or actually, well, now you come to mention it, actually, it's a fine that feels sad, or it's a fine that feels, miserable, or and I think that relentless positivity that sometimes happens, where if you people are frightened to say, actually, I'm having a bad day, I might be having a bad week, I might be having a bad fortnight, or it just might be today. Tomorrow I might wake up and feel different, but today this is how I feel. And I think people are worried about that because of, although we've become more aware of mental health, I still think there is that thing about, pull yourself together, get on with it. we all, we toughen up.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, or that we're not allowed, that in order to be whole, what it means is that we always have to look on the bright side.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, it's okay to rest in and acknowledge and appreciate how you're feeling that day. And it's a facet of who we are. So actually, there's a facet that says, actually, this is a sad day. I'm having a sad day. And to focus, even if it's for an hour, on it's okay to feel sad. Lockdown's a big deal.
Yeah, and also it's when you feel like rubbish, sometimes it's often a sign. Our bodies or our minds are often telling us something.
Yeah.
And if we respond to that, and we take a pause, then often we can almost, right, why do I feel like that? What has happened to make me feel like that? Is there something that I can do to change that? And it might be, oh, do you know what? I've not been out for a walk for 2 days, or, I've not done this, or I've not spoken to friends, or I've not connected with whoever, or actually, do you know what? I'm taking too much on. I need to say no to something.
Or sometimes just talking about it. And I know that sounds hackneyed, doesn't it? But just getting it out there and going, actually, today I don't feel great.
Yeah.
That in that group, it was, I think there were a few people who I didn't know who were slightly kind of whoa. But there were also people who know me well who said, what can we do? What do you need? And I said, I think I recognize that we're all in, well, people said a lot, we're all in the same boat. And my response to that is, we're all in a boat. Well, we're all in several boats. People's boats are different.
Yeah, they are.
So actually, we're all in the same boat. No, we're not in the same boat. We're all in the same ocean, but the boats that we're in are different. And for people who, there might have been people who didn't have any money worries, which is great. There might be people who would have given anything to have half an hour of solitude because they've been homeschooling their kids for 3 months, and their husbands or their partners were all working together in the same space, and they would have given anything to have what I have, which is complete solitude. For me, complete solitude. I like my own company, but there's a limit. And so I think we're not all in the same boat, and that comparison with other people, going, well, actually, I'm only okay if my boat looks like theirs.
Yeah, and also it's like, when you talked about like furlough, there's different people within that category in terms of how they've handled furlough. Some have gone out and done lots of different things. Others have really struggled with it because they've not felt busy enough. Others have done a lot of self-development. But I think around that time, so my other half works in retail as well as being an artist, so he was trying to keep both of those things going, if that makes sense. I work for myself, I have to keep my business going, and and 3 children to homeschool. We didn't have the luxury, and that's, from my perspective, very similar to yours. I felt that, actually, do you know what? I would have really loved to have been furloughed for just 2 weeks, so I could have done some of those clearing out or whatever, and had the peace of mind that the wheels would keep turning. But it's a different perspective. But whereas other people would be furloughed, like, well, I really, really envious of you because you can carry on working. We've both been able to carry on working. You've had a sense of normality. We haven't had a sense of normality. And also that worry in terms of, each month as that furlough went on, there was more and more people sort of, as the end of each month, as a business had to make the decisions that they were making, you know, that around that time where it's the end of the month, we need to make a decision about these people. Can we afford to continue to keep these people in the business? So I know people that have been furloughed, you know, some of my clients that, you know, around that time were like, I feel really, really anxious because I don't know if I'm going to have a job next week. And they have no control whatsoever. So, you know, you've got this amazing niceness of furlough and peace of mind that you've got some income, but then by the end of them. So I think it's such a real mix of emotions for so many, you know, and so many differing perspectives, isn't it?
So many boats. And I think so the conversation around, you know, what's it like in your boat? How's the world in your boat is a really good question, rather than just assuming we're all in the same boat, because actually we're not in the same boat. There are a lot of different boats. And I think, you know, we tend to we like to put people in boxes, don't we? We like to go, oh, we're all the same. Well, we're all the same, but we're all uniquely different. We're all human, but we're all uniquely different. And I think we've come a long way in terms of mental health awareness, but we still haven't truly integrated it. The fact that we call it something different, we don't just call it health. We still put it into nice little compartments. Still means that people feel that it's kind of either or rather than and. It's part of who all of us are.
Yeah. And it's also not something that we view as something that, well, many of us don't view it as something that we need to work on. So, you know, we view our physical fitness as something that we need to work on and something that's going to keep us healthy, but we don't view our mental fitness in the same way. Yeah. So, but I talk about mental fitness a lot, harp on about it, and people go, "What is that thing you harp on about?" But it's about time for you, your awareness, development, you know, everything around that. You know, your around your mental fitness. That's what it is.
Yeah, I call it mental agility, and it's that self-care, isn't it? It's about recognizing that you are a whole, and that, you know, I talk about facets, so that kind of all the multifaceted. If you think of a diamond and all of those different facets that make up that big shiny diamond, which I think we all are. Actually, mental health is a facet of that, and if you ignore it, or aren't aware of it, then of course the shape, your wholeness changes. You're bent out of shape, really. And I think quite often people think of, which is why I wanted to share the lockdown story, was because I think sometimes people assume that to have if there's a mental health issue, then it has to be a really huge, you have to be you know, on a Tyne bridge about to jump off, or you have to be about to throw yourself under a train. And what I wanted to get across to people is actually that, yes, of course, but actually the reason people got to that quite often is because there was a huge length of time of being unaware of the little signs and the conversations they didn't have when it was just a little thing. So it's that everybody in who has a pulse, who has a heartbeat, has a mental, you know, has a mental health thing to think about. And it could just be a tiny thing, which was essentially what mine was. But what I know is that because I know myself, if I hadn't popped the bubble that day, it potentially would have spiraled. Whereas because I had been able to, well, I didn't, I say, because I took the risk and went and shared it, and then was able to share it in other platforms, because I did posts about it the following day, and I was if I'm honest, I was slightly embarrassed because I thought, oh gosh, it's a professional business network. Should I be having a melt? Should I be melting down in a professional networking meeting? And then I thought, you know, actually, because of the impact of it, yes, I should. And people are still talking about it. So
because it was brave, you know, it was brave compared to many people that aren't, you know, that think they can't say that, you know. Yeah, okay, we don't want to moan every day about stuff. It gets to a point where actually I'm in the wrong place if I'm feeling negative about something all of the time. But actually, you know, now and again from somebody, you know, like you, that's always positive, you know, that anybody and everybody needs to be able to, you know, vent now and again, let it out, you know, whether that's be, you know, saying it, writing it out, getting it out. It's just get it out of your head, and then you can try and rationalize it and get it in some sort of order.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that would be it, you know, if I was I don't normally give advice, but if I was telling
beautifully on to my next question. What advice to anyone who feels they may need some help right now?
I think my invitation to them would be to is firstly, it's okay not to be okay. And not okay might last a few hours, it might last a day, it might last weeks, but actually it's okay to not be okay. The second thing, obviously now I'm on a roll, now I'm not giving advice, but now you've asked me, oh well, actually the second thing is that it's never as bad as you think it is. Once you've, you know, that first sentence of I need some help, or I'm feeling or whatever it is, that's the hardest bit, that first sentence. And as I said, because I was here, it kind of almost fell out without, it was an overflow. It was that, you know, that last drop in the jug. So when you put that last drop in the jug that overflows, you don't just get one drop, do you? You get the whole thing. But I think that one drop, that first sentence, just tell somebody, just get it out there. And tell somebody, and once it's out there, it's okay to feel how you feel. You are allowed to feel. We sometimes have to give ourselves permission, don't we? It's okay. You're allowed to feel angry, or you know, I've a very close friend at the moment who's just been bereaved, and she's like, well, I should be okay. It's like, why should you be okay? It's horrible. It's a really hard time. So no, it's okay to feel how you feel. You know, no, it's not that I should feel different. No, feel how you feel. Own it, and talk about it. And if the first person you talk to goes, oh, cheer up, please find somebody else, somebody who'll listen. And maybe that's a question to ask. When somebody says, how are you? Maybe the question in response, rather than just fine, is, have you got time to listen? Do you really want to know how I am? Have you got time to listen? Because actually right now I need someone to listen. Not to fix me, not to find me a solution, just to listen.
And that is often, you know, one of the, you know, the biggest things, isn't it? It's just, you know, once you get it out, you can start rationalizing yourself. You don't need all the solutions. It's just being able to talk, because our lives are so fast and so so busy, and no matter whether we're in the situation we're, no matter if we're in 2020 or not, we're all, we're all striving for something, or doing something, or we're just busy. And often it's like, actually, in terms of priorities, is this busy what I want? Is it actually what is really kind of right for me right now? But it's just trying to kind of almost if you can get whatever's in your head out, then you can, that's the first step forward for anyone. And just by, we often think that in this world that we have to be supercharged, superpowered,
Perfect. We have to be perfect all the time. That's, as I say, we've come full circle to my comparisonitis, that thing about where it's another horrible, I hesitate to talk about another virus, but it's that horrible life shriveling virus, when we look at everybody else's lives and think theirs is perfect and mine isn't. And actually, I'm writing a book about that at the moment. But that's a big deal, is that we look at other people's, and nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on in your heart, in your life, except, you can post all the fabulous Instagram pictures you like. Nobody. Perfection is a myth that drives people to comparisonitis. It's a horrible disease. It's not nice.
No.
And it's awful.
Yeah. So why do you think days such as mental health, World Mental Health Day, are important?
I think because, for precisely that reason, because we you think when you are aware, you think everybody else is. So like when you've just bought a red car and suddenly you see lots of other red cars. And I think the thing about mental health is, I talk to a lot of people who still feel that mental health is either a bit weird, a bit that happens to somebody else, that you have to and that, so I think that the reason that these are so important is that we're still on a mission to get it out there, and we won't be finished until we can accept and appreciate that mental health is part. I love your mental health fitness. So I think until we can give mental health the same normal attention as we do running, yoga, Pilates, all of the activities that keep us physically healthy, I think until we can approach mental health care, rather than waiting to see it as, rather than waiting until we've got an issue, until somebody's ready to jump under a train, if we see it as part of keeping us healthy. So the same, in the same way that we look at what we eat, we look at how we sleep, we look at our physical activity. I love that mental health fitness, until we have that as a normal part of what we teach in school, what we teach at university, what we teach in parenting classes, what we teach in coaching, in business, all of those, until it's normal to make mental health fitness part of your daily life in the same way. That's why, and we haven't got there yet, have we?
No, we've got a lot of work to do.
but also, I think, it feels to me like, actually, it doesn't have to be hard. And I think that's the other thing, is that we can make mental health fitness fun. And we can destigmatize it, and we can make it fun, and we can make it compassionate, and we can make a difference. So the more we can get it out there, and frame the conversations in as mental health fitness.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
people will go, oh, I hadn't thought of it like that.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the key things that I say to people is, you know, everybody's mental fitness is different and what they like to do is different. So no matter what what it's like when you compare it to physical activity. Well, I like going to the gym, or I like riding a bike, or I like going for a walk, or I like swimming, or whatever that activity is. There's so many different things and facets to it. Like like you said, there's different things, and there's different things that work for different people as well. And a big part of that is just taking just a few little steps, a few little pauses to actually just stop and think, actually, what do I want to try? What do I think would help me? And actually, what do I really love? And like you said before, let's have some fun. So what is it, what do I love doing? And what fun can I have doing it? And actually, when you have fun, then you feel a darn sight better anyway. So
exactly, yeah, and you're so right. And I think the other thing is that quite often, if the first thing you try, and I hate the gym, I hate going to the gym, but I love dance classes. Yeah. I love bounce classes. There's lots of things I don't like running, but I like walking. So if the first thing you try doesn't do it for you, then you don't just go, oh well, I'm never going to eat again. If you have to eat, if you don't like broccoli, you don't then say, well, I'm not eating ever again, do you? You try something else. And I think that's the thing, is that we it's about helping people. So there's loads of stuff out there, and actually there might be 3 or 4 things that you like. There might be just one. Back to the boat thing, is that we've all got different boats. And that's okay too.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. Is there anything else that you'd like to add today?
I think we've done a great job. I just want to say thank you to you for asking me to share my story, and I just want to wish. I think we just invite people to spread the word. So whether it's about a post on Facebook, be real, guys, be real. Whether it's a post on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, keep it real. Let's change the conversations that we have, and that will contribute to people's mental fitness. I'm gonna steal that shamelessly, Emma.
Yeah, you're all right. I've not trademarked it yet.
That's okay
then. All right. No, if you do want to know obviously more about what Jenny does, then Jenny's details will be in the Jenny will be tagged in there. So if you want to get in touch with Jenny, or you want to know more about what I do in terms of training or my mental fitness membership, then give me a shout as well. Okay, well, I hope that people have found that useful. There have been some comments that I've been trying to open, but every time I try and open the comments, the video sets off at the same time, so I can't actually read them until we come off live for some reason. Don't know why on earth. But anyway, thank you ever so much, and I've absolutely loved having you on here, and love your story. I think a lot of people will really be able to kind of empathize with that, and and recognize that perhaps they've been there as well. So thanks ever so much, Jenny.
It's been a pleasure, Emma, and sometimes the little things are the big things, aren't they?
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.